Hello friends, this is Vivek Bajaj. I'm the co-founder of StockEdge. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to analyze a stock. And the analysis can be done for the purpose of short-term trading, or the analysis can be done for the purpose of investing. Now in this video, I'm not going to talk about intraday trading because that's a very different ball game. But definitely from a short-term perspective as well as from a long-term perspective, how do you analyze a stock? Friends, just to make you understand that you can analyze the market in two ways, fundamentally or technically. Fundamentally essentially means that you try to find out the factors that can influence a business in which the company is and figure out in future what is going to be the effect of those factors on the performance of the business of that company. And technically is more with respect to stock price. You try to find out what the crowd is thinking with respect to the stock price and where you think the crowd will take the stock price to. So that is more of sentiment driven rather than the performance driven. Now considering these two factors, the fundamental and the technical analysis, StockEdge helps you to do a 360-degree understanding of a stock, where you can not just get information about the stock but also do value-added research in both the aspects in technical and fundamental, so that you can start making judgment on that stock. And the judgment can be based on your objective, whether you want it to be a medium term or a short term judgment, or you want it to be a long term judgment. Now let me show you the complete database which is relevant for you to make a judgment on a company using this beautiful StockEdge app. Now let us search for any stock. Say I search for the stock called Reliance. So I can just, when I type Reliance, I can see there are various options available with the name of Reliance. I select Reliance Industries. Now this section of StockEdge is actually a 360-degree view about the stock. Everything you probably would like to know about the stock is available here. The first and the most primitive thing you want to know about a stock is how has the stock price moved over a period of time. And friends, I think as a retail investor, even if you look at last 5 years perspective, that what has been the trend or how the stock price have moved over the last 5 years, I think we will have a fair idea about the performance of the stock price of that stock. So if you see, a simple price chart can give you a fair understanding of how the stock has been moving over a period of time, and the time period can be 2 years, 5 years, depending upon your judgment you want to make about that company. This chart is a very simple price chart which is giving you a trend. However, if someone wants to do a deeper analysis with more technical parameters, then obviously you can subscribe to the detailed advanced chart and you can select the period which may be relevant for your analysis. And these detailed this detailed chart, you can draw various trend lines, various other indicators. You can plug in more indicators to see how the stock has been performing vis-a-vis those technical indicators. Friends, I'm not getting into understanding of technicals and fundamentals right now because we have a lot of free videos in our Elon Markets channel where you can watch and you can learn about these two studies. But all I'm trying to show you is that there are certain cutting edge features which is available in this app which you can use as a learned person to make a judgment about that company. Now, as you know, there are technical indicators which can be plotted, as there are other tools which are providing you. But one of the beautiful features which we have added in StockEdge is you can actually add fundamental indicators also as part of the chart. So see, for example, in this, I'm plotting say quarterly EPS as part of this chart, and I'm saving this template. See this chart now. You see how Reliance stock price has performed. At the same time, the performance is backed by the increment in the quarterly EPS performance of the company. So this is a very unique thing where you can get to understand whether fundamentally that company is doing as good as the stock price has been doing. Before I go into the further stock price understanding, just to give you an academic understanding of a stock price. So a stock price is actually a component of two important characters. One, the intrinsic value of the stock, which is derived out of the business which the company is into. And intrinsic value also takes into account the past performance of the company, which is reflected by profit and loss account and the balance sheet. But the second, and which is the most critical part of any stock price movement, is the speculative value in the stock price. And that speculative value is largely driven by the liquidity phenomenon. That means the more liquidity in the system, the more people are willing to buy that stock, that speculative value will be more prominent in the stock price, and the stock price will move beyond the intrinsic value. You must have understood the concept of price earning multiple. So there are a lot of companies where P multiple is very, very high. How do you justify that? The justification is very simple. When P is high, that means there is more speculative value in the stock price. That means people are expecting more money to be there, pumped into the stock market to bring that, to buy that particular stock, and people want to be always a net buyer in that stock. That's why the speculative value is more than the intrinsic value. All right. Now let's go to the other data point which may be relevant for you. That you can also, if you're a short-term trader, and if you probably trade for a swing of 4, 5, 6 days, you would like to know whether the stock, there is any significant buying or selling is happening in that stock. And the buying and the selling is symbolic from two important parameters. One is a volume, that means how many people are buying, selling on a cumulative basis. And the second, which is the most critical, is the delivery. That means at the end of the day, how many people are taking delivery of that stock and going home. The more people take delivery of that stock, there is a higher possibility that the momentum towards price increase will sustain, because if they are taking delivery, that means they are willing to put more money. That means they are willing to take more risk. And the higher people are willing to take risk, the chances that the momentum will be higher is extremely high. So through this chart, which is a beautiful chart which gives the combination of both the exchanges delivery as well as volume data, you get to see if at any particular day there has been significant delivery vis-a-vis volume, and that day becomes a very, very important day as far as the stock price support and resistance is concerned. Then you have various technical parameters. Friends, we have designed this in such a beautiful manner that you don't need a technical analyst to give you guidance about the support and resistance of the stock. All you need to do is create a ladder of technical analysis parameters and see at which price point there are more parameters which is getting satisfied. If there are more parameters which is getting satisfied in a particular price range, the chances of that stock taking support and resistance at those parameters becomes extremely high. See, in this module, we have previous day open, high, low, close, weekly open, high, low, close, monthly open, high, low, close, 52-week high, low, close, simple moving average, which is 5-day, 20-day, 50, 100, 200, exponential moving average. Then you have pivot points, Bollinger Bands, and parabolic SAR. Friends, I am a deeply follower of these technicals. I don't get into a modern, very complex technical. I actually believe in these technical parameters. And if you select few these depending upon your objective, so if you are a short-term trader and want a 2-day, 3-day or 5-day swing, probably you would like to select previous day, weekly high, low, close, and probably simple moving average for your judgment about where the stock can take support and resistance. But if you are trading for the purpose of say a month or a 2-month position, then probably you like to see 52-week high, low, close, simple moving average, and probably parabolic SAR to look at the trend in the stock price at this moment. So this ladder is actually pretty much a sum up of the various support and resistance levels which can help that stock to take immediate support or to go to the next level. One more concept I want to discuss in this is a 52-week high. So 52-week high zone, the buy zone is essentially 52-week high minus 15%. So that's the top range where the buyer is always available to buy that stock. And similarly, 52-week low zone is 52-week low plus 15%. So that's the seller zone. So point is, all the stocks who are at a buyer zone typically will always be going, will always go up, and typically stocks which are at a seller zone, they are the one which will always see selling pressure. So one should always buy the 52-week high stocks and sell later, and vice versa in case of a 52-week low stock. So classic case is Reliance right now, which is near its 52-week high zone. So 52-week high is 1329. If you calculate minus 15%, it would be around say 1100, and the stock price is 1290. Till this stock is trading near 52-week high zone, this is a good stock to buy. So when I say it's a good stock to buy, that means as a trader, you should always look at the position to initiate a buy. Buy first and then square up. You should never go short in these stocks because there is a huge momentum to buy this stock because of their inherent characteristics of being in a bullish zone or in a bias zone. So apart from this technical level ladder, you also can have a look at the various technical indicators. So these are in one step advanced indicators which are giving you some indication about the momentum associated in that stock. And if you don't know about these indicators, the beauty of StockEdge is that we have embedded learning as part of analytics. So just press I and you will get an understanding of what this indicator is all about, and then you can also click on the video which is available in each tab. And this video is a 5-minute video which will teach you what RSI is or what other indicators is, and maybe you can make a judgment on the momentum associated with that stock based on the indicators which is available. Now moving on from technical. Now technical is more relevant for people who are looking for a short-term trading opportunities in a stock. Now from a fundamental perspective, if you are an investor, you would like to see how the company has been performing, right? And fundamentally, you can look at various parameters to arrive at a judgment about the company. First and the foremost, you should know what the company is doing. So we have something called show profile, which gives you a complete understanding, a brief background about the company and the kind of product they have been developing, the timeline associated with that company, right? Apart from that, you can go to a sector, you click on the sector, so you can do a peer group comparison of other companies associated in that particular sector based on market cap, PE, price by book, debt equity, return on equity, return on capital employed. So this is a beautiful section where you can see whether this company is looking expensive or cheap from a peer group comparison perspective. Or you can also do a industry wise. So there will be a sector and there will be multiple industries inside that sector. Quickly, if you want to go to the company website and do a detailed research on company website, you don't have to really go to any desktop for that. You just click here and you can directly go to the company website, which will help you to get an understanding about the company in a larger depth if you at all intend to do that. There are some data points which are commonly used data points in our everyday's market life, like EPS, like price earning multiple, industry PE, book value per share. These are live data points as on yesterday. So these are actually updated data points which takes into account the latest filing by the company. So when I'm talking about EPS, I'm talking about EPS for last 4 quarters cumulatively here. Right? So there is a difference between trailing EPS and annual EPS. Trailing EPS is last 4 quarters summation. Annual EPS is last reported EPS as per the annual summation. That will be available in the other section. Then you have exhaustive research result tab, where you can click on any graph and you can see how the company has been performing on a quarterly basis, half yearly basis, or on an annual basis based on these profit and loss account statement. And then you can actually do a ratio analysis. When we were studying in our academics, we did ratio based on various criteria like return ratio, efficiency ratio, growth ratio, solvency ratio, and each category of ratio was talking about certain ratios which are trying to talk about something about the company. For example, return ratio, return on equity. So this company on a consolidated basis, see, this is on a consolidated basis, generates a return on capital equity of 12.95%, right? Now, there is a lot of subjectivity involved in this. For your calculation of ROE, my calculation of ROE can be different. As well as you would like to know whether numerator is contributing to higher ROE or the denominator is contributing to the higher ROE. What we did very nicely was we actually gave you both the numerator and the denominator trend. This is helping you to really understand whether the performance increase in the company has been contributed because of numerator or the denominator of the company. Apart from these ratios, we have some really nice ratio. For example, efficiency ratio, which talks about the working capital cycle. Look at the working capital cycle of this company. It's minus 42. That is so impressive. So literally company is actually not requiring fund to do business. They have enough money getting generated because of their working capital efficiency. Apart from the fundamental data points, you have annual report here presented in a fantastic manner, in a very, very interactive manner. Look at all three: balance sheet, PL and cash flow. So let's go to cash flow, and this is one of my most important financial statement if I want to make a judgment on any company. So in cash flow, you go inside the cash flow. So you click here, you can go inside the cash flow, and you go inside the next change. So this will give you clearly an idea that how the company is generating cash inside the business. So his cash from operation is so much, cash from investing is so much down, and cash from financing is so much down. This clearly means that company is generating enough cash to be redeployed for investment purpose. Let's go inside the cash from operation and let's press all years. You will see the trend associated in this company as far as cash from operation is concerned. This is phenomenal. The company is not just making profit, but the company is also generating cash from its profit. That means the company is generating profit and not parking its profit in debtors or inventory. Eventually the profit is getting into cash, which is the most critical, because the cash helps you to do follow-on capex and for your follow-on expansion into the business. Now let's move on from annual report to shareholders, because shareholders are the very, very critical audience who would give you an understanding of the character of the promoter or the character of the people who have invested in this company. If you see the promoter shareholding, it has been pretty much static. It has gone up in the middle and now again it has gone into the flattish zone. That means promoter is very, very confident about the company. And then you have institutions and retail shareholding as well here, which is giving you an idea of what kind of interest this company has generated over a period of time. We also have given you name of all the shareholders, including the promoter in the company, and by this name you can actually see what kind of people have invested in this company. And not just today, we have actually given you last 5 years data. Now you can actually compare that in 2011 who were the investors, and as on today who are the investors in this company. And one of the most beautiful feature of StockEdge is that if you click on any of these investors, you can actually see the list of all the companies in India where this investor is also invested and their shareholding in that company in a percentage terms. That's a phenomenal value addition which we are giving to all of you. Then we have board of director name, all the people who are board of director in the company, and also it will give you an idea about the kind of people who are associated with that company, because ultimately a company is run by the board. Obviously there is an entrepreneur who is leading the board, but still the board composition becomes a very, very important thing. The latest addition for us in this app is the con call details. Unfortunately, this company doesn't give con calls, and also the investor presentation. So you can click right here and you can go through the investor presentation. Investor presentation gives you an understanding of what this company is trying to do, whether this company is trying to expand in the right way or the wrong way. Lot of corporate governance aspects, lot of software aspects related to the company can actually be gauged from the investor performance report which the company gives on a quarterly basis. Then the company, if the company is into derivatives, then there is a open interest which we have shown here. If you see, what a beautiful presentation. If you see in November, open interest was around say 407 contracts. Approximately 103, 102, and 4 crores contracts, right? And if you see open interest as on today is almost 5 crore. That means more open interest has built up from 1150 price to 1310. That means there has been significant long position in this stock. More people are betting on this stock on derivatives for a long position. Now this gives you a different level of comfort that yes, overall market also believes that this stock is long, so I should also be long in this stock, or rather I should say I should try to figure out an opportunity to always go long in this stock first and then square up later. Do not go short in this stock because that can be counterproductive. Then for people who want to take some judgment from options, we have option chain also. I don't want to cover options in detail because that's a separate video which I'll be recording in future. But this chain also gives you fair understanding of what people are expecting from this company. We have developed some credible tools which is giving you an immediate impression about a company. So look at this presentation which talks about what are the various parameters which is getting satisfied in the company. So as on yesterday, these were the parameters which were satisfying the company. So this is all mostly green parameters. That means this is a clear indication of the stock doing good over a shorter period. And also the fundamental parameters, that what are the performances parameter of the company fundamentally, which can help you to make a judgment about this company, right? Then for a short-term medium trader, you would like to know the various deals, ball deal, block deal, and insider deal which is happening in that company, because ultimately insider activity gives a first-hand impression about what the management or what the core people inside the company are thinking about the pricing of the stock. If there are more insider buying happening, there is a high chance that stock price will outperform. If there is more insider selling happening, there is a high chance that possibly the stock will stop performing now. Towards the end, I know there is a lot of things which we have covered, so just take 2 more minutes. Towards the end, we give you all the news for last 5 years related to this company, all the corporate announcement from the company which has been given to both the exchanges, all the corporate actions like dividend, split, anything which has material impact on the price has been mentioned there for last 5 years. And if suppose we forgot anything and we have not presented you, which is a seldom thing, I don't think so we have done it, but if we suppose forget anything, then Google will not forget, and we have given the complete news track which Google feed has been able to give to all of us when we Google about Reliance Industries. And the last is, you as a prudent investor, you would not like to buy at every price. You would like to wait when the right price is released. So you can give an alert. Say I give an alert that you only inform me if the stock actually move beyond a certain price, and you can add the alert. Accordingly, this alert will, sorry, there's a problem here. Yeah, got it. So the alert is there. So whenever the stock will cross 1300, the alert will be there. More than the active alert, wherever the stock price actually reached the earlier alert, it is shown as a historical. So you know, last time this alert was released to me when 1200 price was reached, and then I acted accordingly. So this is this is a pretty long video, but this is pretty much summing up the complete 360-degree understanding of a stock. If you want to do trading, you can focus on parameters which are relevant for trading. If you want to do investing, you can focus on parameters which are relevant from an investment decision perspective. After this, probably you will have to just take a call on the company based on your objective. If it's a very short-term objective, you focus on price, and if it's a long-term, medium to long-term objective, you probably would like to add more parameters for the decision making, and largely most of the parameters is covered in StockEdge app. So I hope this video was useful. You got an understanding of what are the parameters necessary to invest or trade in a stock, and I'm going to record more videos and get deep inside those parameters so that you can understand these parameters in totality and become more learned and independent person to invest or trade in the market. Thank you.